Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I'm here to work the books that I read in July. And I usually start by making my card, and it'll say like June read or July read. And I decided that from now on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a thickers, and I'm just going to use that thickers for the that month. And then that way I'm not going back and forth. I'm just using one thicker. At this point, I'm trying to catch up. I still have, half of 2020 to do, and then I want to make sure that I keep up with 2021. So there's a few things that I did before I started the recording. First of all, I chose the Fifth and Frolic edition, the Project Life edition, and I was really surprised when I opened it up. There's, some parts of it that is empty. So I've been using quite a bit of these cards. So that made me feel good. And that's what I do. I choose a different one every time I start a different month. And then that way I'm going to get through all, hopefully some of my Project Life cards. Then the last time I did that, I had cut a bunch of labels and viewfinders and then circles that I had stamped, currently reading. And this time I took the aqua and turquoise and I cut a whole bunch of that. So every time I do a different month, I'm going to cut a whole bunch and then just stick it in that little page protector that you saw. But let's start talking about the books that I read. So the first book that I read in July was The Cursed Hunter by Bethany Atazada. And she is a YouTuber here, and she self-publishes her books up to now. And this is the third book in a fantasy series, a loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Now, she says that you can read this book as a standalone, but I wouldn't miss out on the other books. They're really good. I would read all the books in the series. This follows Nezrin, and there's dragons and there's mermaids, and she's looking for a dragon egg because they're worth a lot of money. And I absolutely love this book. I think I read it in like a day and a half. And the fourth book in the series is coming out in March, and I've already pre-ordered it. And the minute that it's on my Kindle, I'm going to be reading it. So I can't wait to see where she takes our characters and finish off the series. The next book I read was The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, and this is part of the Raven Cycle series. It's the fourth and final book in the series, and I know a lot of people, when they talked about the last book, they said they were disappointed. I, on the other hand, loved it. I love the book. I think I just love the characters so much. You could, they could be washing dishes and I would love the story. It was just a quirky, weird, a little confusing at times story, but I absolutely loved it. The next book I read was Only a Breath Apart by Katie McGarry, and this follows Jessie and Scarlett. And Jessie's had a rough time, and it says that they believe that their land is cursed, and he's got to do a certain thing a certain way, or he's going to be cursed forever. And then his friend Scarlett lives next door, and Scarlett has her own problems too with her dad, and they're really good friends as kids, but then when they turn teenagers, all of a sudden he's kind of mean to her, or a few years before, and she can't figure out why they're not friends anymore. Well, now they're like older teenagers, and they kind of go through and find out what happened, and they kind of rebuild their friendship and a little bit more. And it's a young adult contemporary, but with some hard-hitting moments in it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Now, the next book I read was a novella by Maggie Stiefvater. It's called Opal, and this follows Opal, Ronan, and Adam, and it's just a cute little story. And it was just nice to be in that world again, because I was thinking, I'm done the series and I won't be able to read anymore. So I gave it 4 stars. It was cute. It was fun. The next book I read was Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore, and this is a historical fiction. And I'm not hugely big on historical fiction, and this is historical fiction romance. But I love this. I gave it 5 stars, a lot of 5 stars. And this follows a girl. It's in like 1874, I think. And she gets accepted at Oxford, but there's like conditions to that, and she's got to, do a bunch of stuff, which includes hanging around this guy, Sebastian, I think his name was. And he, at first, she cannot stand him. But of course, being a romance, it's how their love blossoms. So I love the story, and I can't wait to read the second book. Now, the next book I read is Shadowcaster by Cinda Williams-Chima. And she writes long fantasies. Like the first series was 5 books, and this is a companion series, and it follows the kids of our main characters of the first book. And I love both series. I was kind of sad when I read their last book because I wanted to stay in that world. Now, the last book I read in July was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. And this was written in verse, which was really weird for me. I'm not used to reading books that are in verse. And this is about a young woman or young girl growing up in Harlem. And I think the verse thing kind of threw me off. I enjoyed it. It was like a 3-star. I read other books by this author that I liked a little bit more, but I still enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. And now that's all the books that I read, but because I only read 7 books, I need to make some filler cards. So I had picked out quite a few little cards, and I'm just going to make some little titles that are kind of bookish. So this one, with the alphas, I'm just going to put books, and then I'll put I love with these tiny stickers from Tim Holtz. I haven't used those in like forever, so it's nice to be able to use some of the stuff that I haven't used in a while. And here I'm just going to put one more chapter, because that's exactly how I feel every night when I read. Just one more chapter, just one more chapter. And so that was kind of perfect. So by the way, I sped this up ×8 because it was like 5 minutes long and I didn't have too much to say about this. But I still wanted to show you my process with everything. When I don't have enough books to fill those 2 pages, I just put in some filler cards. And be watching. Tomorrow I'll be uploading a video, and it'll be a real-time scrapbooking video, and I'm going to be chatting about the different changes to my channel. I'm going to try it for a month and see how it goes. So I'll be chatting about, every day of the week is going to be dedicated to something specific. And like I said, I'll try it for the month of February and see how it goes. Because I'm doing this full time, I am dedicating a whole lot more time to, scrapbooking and just crafting in general. But I thought it'd be fun to let you guys know what I'm planning for the next month. So that's it. That's going to complete the month of July. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.